Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between Grand Cathay and the Skaven. It's going to be myself with the Iron Dragon facing off against Subutai, who's going to be coming in with Old Queek Headtaker. So obviously the power grab mechanic for the Skaven is no longer abusable, so players actually have to bring Skaven Lords now. So a lot of people kind of experimenting, maybe Queek is going to be effective as an armor-piercing foot character to get through Cathay Troopers. Maybe Skrull could be good, but potentially a little bit vulnerable against some of the Dragon characters. It's a kind of fun time for the Skaven, a lot to explore. Much meta to be found. Now, as far as my army goes, it is going to be a front battle line of Jade Warriors, which, what else are you going to bring? Present Spears will be okay, but Clan Rats will actually, beat them up pretty good. So having the Jade Warriors in the front with their, high armor, good melee defense, they'll hold their own against most of the Rats and trade very well. Iron Dragon is hands down the auto pick in this matchup. He's very, very nasty. Firstly, he's got that breath attack, which just does so much damage against light armor. Obviously, it has 0 armor piercing, but against Skaven, Skaven slaves and Clan Rats and, most of the Skaven roster, nobody's going to bring Storm Vermin here. The Dragon's Breath is going to be very, very brutal, right? And he can cast it from Dragon form. And lastly, if the Skaven want to try and snipe him, he does have that healing item, which heals him up. It has since been fixed. It was bugged before where it just healed him to full, which was super, super oppressive. But now it only heals him, I think, 33%. Still very good. CROWMEN are the bane of the Skaven as well. These things can basically defeat Clan Rats and trade well into Rat Ogres. They can also take on the backline elements like the Plague Claw Catapults extremely well. And just a little bit of spice for you guys, it is going to be the Fire Rain Rockets, which I actually really like in this matchup. These things are relatively quick for an artillery piece. At 32 speed, they can maneuver around the battlefield very well. Those Oxen put in some work, and they do a ton of damage against bunched up Skaven, and can definitely help you break through those massive formations. Now, looking at the armies of Subutai, he's coming in with double Plague Claw Catapult. A very bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it works out for him, because these things are very, very vulnerable to the CROWMEN. So the CROWMEN going to be coming across. Now, you guys probably remember the Empress's CROWMEN. They got pretty massively nerfed a patch ago, and they're probably not worth bringing as much anymore, maybe, but the basic CROWMEN are still very good. So double catapults, and Subutai here going to be calling in Night Runners and bringing over the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep. And these guys are going to be looking to try and defend those catapults, which are already ripping some shots into my Onyx CROWMEN. And the rest of the army is going to be very chaff-centric. So he's kind of playing that old school style of Skaven in domination, which I don't know if it's going to be as viable anymore, which is just kind of Horde Skaven, just like, where you don't have, you just literally swarm the objectives and drown them in bodies, which is very lore-friendly for the Skaven for sure. I guess a lot of his punching power is in these catapults, which can do great work. If those catapults are allowed to shoot, the Cathay armies can pay the Troll Toll. I think against Grand Cathay, you really do need to have Death Runners and also Rattling Gunners as well. The ROR Rattling Gunners can sneak up and punish Zhao Ming with a Howling Warp Gale. And now that he's not undefeatable anymore, he's not going to heal up to 100%. I think that could be a very viable strategy against him. So Plague Claw Catapults trading into my artillery here. The Fire Rain Rockets are discouraged, but I have the advantage of the CROWMEN and a big, powerful SE that is extremely tough to kill. And you can see there the Night Runners move in, and I do see an opportunity here, so I see him move in, and I'm going to be using the Dragon's Breath right as they move through. And we do get a little bit of a roast on those guys, and also hit the catapult, and immediately there is going to be a terror route most likely. Other CROWMEN coming in from the side are going to be trying to jump here, and he's very prepared for it. He's got a lot of units back here, but I don't know. The problem with CROWMEN is they're very surprisingly tanky, not very tanky, but it takes a while to kill them. So I'm more than happy to sacrifice a 650 gold unit if it means I'm getting rid of a catapult that costs more than that. So that is the game plan. We're going to be throwing those birds in there, and the bird is indeed the word. Now, on the rest of the battlefield, we do have a Wujing War Compass, which I think is a great one. Wujing War Compass certainly can drop some big bombardments on Skaven Rats. 2 Comets of Cassandora that are well placed basically are going to be 2 dead Clan Rat units, so that's kind of my idea. Now, over here, we do see a shatter on 1 unit, so the Plague Claw Catapult shatters, and I do lose my CROWMEN, but it's 100% worth, and we also use the Breath Attack here from Zhao Ming up in the sky to punish that catapult, and the CROWMEN, I believe, are going to be breaking. I think my Breath Attack did more to them, but the Catapult crew is at 3 leadership now, and my Fire Rain Rockets are going to be returning the favor here while he tries to push into my backfield. So we do see the Clan Rats heading up, and the Cathay battle lines stand at the ready. The Dragon Emperor looking to banish the filthy vermin from this vampiric wasteland, which, Cathay may have some. Maybe there's some Jade Vampires over here. Who knows? So we can come up with our own headcanon. But the Jade Warriors move it up. Objective's going to start flipping for us, and the Fire Rain Rocket unleashing hell on this backfield for sure. Plague Claw Catapult going to be paying the Troll Toll. Now he's going to be trying to move in my ranks, and he will engage with the Rats, but he's going to try and Tokyo Drift around me. So he engages in the front, but I pull in the CROWMEN with a rear charge, which should break the Skaven Slave's leadership almost instantly. Now we have a flanking attack coming in with the Jade Lancers, because it's a desperation dive from the Skaven, trying to get that catapult offline. So we charge him and get a big breath attack there, and you can see that just roast through those units. So Zhao Ming instantly just cleaning up. Granted, that was only 400 gold worth of units. You know, that's how the Skaven are. And you can see another Skaven slave trying to come in. But the Brave Peasant Spears will surge forward and make sure to defend the backfield while the Iron Dragon and company continue doing so. So Spears against Skaven slaves. Quite a battle. Quite a battle, but the backfield has been stabilized. Both of the catapults are offline for my opponent here. I'm up in value by about 1,200 at this point. And now you're going to see the power of the Wujing War Compass. So the Wujing War Compass will be dropping some fat dubstep beats, some Skrillex here on the old rats. And there it goes. Huge damage coming down right there. Absolutely getting pounded are those clan rats. While we do call in more of these bad boys. So the Onyx CROWMEN going to be lurking around, just waiting for Globadiers and other assets. And now we start to call out some archers. So we have Jade Warrior crossbows coming out. Jade Lancers are moving and a grooving, and there is going to be a nice cleansing rune there. That was a very good cast for my opponent. It nails 2 of my cavalry units. Also hits the Iron Dragon, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. Iron Dragon gets in and just lays a whooping there on that Warlock Engineer. And without those firing catapults back here, the Skaven definitely seem to lack the stopping power. We don't see any Jezzails. Weapons teams are on their way back in now. We are seeing the Poison Wing Globadiers hustling in. And they will do some okay damage against my Chirpers if they can get close for sure. Wujing War Compass and Jade Warriors, though, holding on to the point quite well, while the Iron Dragon is going to be trying to push up. Value creeping back for the Skaven a little bit. Those cleansing runes they got were quite cost effective, and you can see it's still going. Zhao Ming, Iron Dragon, at about 80% HP, and he is being surrounded by Rat Ogres, which isn't the best. But Fire Rain Rockets, man, have been going all game. And they do pretty good. You can see slowly wearing down these units. Hey, if you rat off a Slinger unit at range, that's great. We have plenty of tools to protect our backfield. You can see I pull back a little bit, pulling the cavalry back to make sure nothing penetrates through. Another breath attack from Zhao Ming, but it seems like the Skaven got a bit of a second wind, and they're going to be trying to make use of that to shut down the artillery. However, it's already used all of its ammo, so at this point we will just be unsummoning it and bringing it back later in the game. Quick Head Taker, classic meme Footlord character. You know, he waddles around the battlefield doing basically nothing for most of the game, which is his classic play. Against Grand Cathay, like, I think against Dwarves he has a niche because he can catch the Dwarf characters, but against Grand Cathay, like, he's got to be bullied by the Dragons most likely. But he looks cool. It's pretty giant, right? I mean, obviously hero characters are scaled differently in the game, but hey, he's there with the boys. He's doing it. Combat of Cassandora once again going down, and it does some okay damage against those globes. They're not super tightly packed, so it's not going to just straight up destroy them. But the Globadier fire has moved in and is now saturating into the Jade Warriors and some of the fleeing Jade Warriors back here as well. Looking around the battlefield, more cavalry coming up. Some Wolf Rats tried to creep into the backfield, but there is no backfield anymore. The cannon was unsummoned, and now the Iron Dragon is getting a pretty solid little push here. Zhao Ming and company moving the Rat Ogres back, and there are some Jade Warriors backing him up just to be some, you know, ablative wounds, as they say. Zhao Ming going to get nailed once again by the Flensing Rune, which has been pretty good this game. Flensing Rune is very, very strong. I think running a Flensing Rune build, so you run Flensing Rune, then you run Skrolk, but Skrolk you don't bring any of his magic, you just bring him with his summons. Not summons, but his activated items, and I mean, maybe one spell. I feel like that could be a pretty good nuking combo, like Libra Bubonicus plus Cleansing Rune for Skaven. I think that could be really, really good for like a sniping meta. Against a big character like Zhao Ming, so I'm trying to snipe him is usually a not the best endeavor, because what's going to happen is he's just going to heal up, and that's so much value that you've just spent into a character that's still going to continue being effective. Here we see some Death Runners creeping in. I think Death Runners could be quite good in this matchup too. I think they have some good potential. Some of them going to make it into the backfield. Crossbows trying to rip shots, Last Samurai style, but the little rats are going to get into combat, and we are going to see the Jade Warriors having a relatively rough fight here, but they don't stand alone. They do have a War Compass and also some Jades back here who will be concaving in, and the Death Runners are going to be getting broken. At this point, we are going to be capturing this objective here, so you can see the Rat Ogres and Night Runner Slingers not looking super good. And the Skaven are basically, I would say at this point, kind of dead in the water in the battlefield. We've got a pretty substantial value lead, and you're going to see Zhao Ming coming across in a second. He will be getting his healing. They are trying to move up here, but the CROWMEN are basically shutting down all those elements. Objective number 3 has been secured and very, very firmly by us, with the Peasant Horsemen and these Jade Lancers as well on the Pit Fighters. A couple of Clan Rats moving up, just trickling in, but we have a lot more on the battlefield. And Iron Dragon, a lot of my opponent's value is tied up in, probably 1,500 of it, if not more. Zhao Ming costs about 2,000, so 1,100 value is tied up in Zhao Ming here. And he's still got so much to give. Jade Crossbow's going to be shooting away. Another breath attack coming in from the Dragon onto these Skaven Slaves. Crossbows moving in between the two formations so they can bounce out and deal with Rat Ogres as needed, but overall, not a whole lot the Skaven are going to be able to do. They're going to get rear charged and killed here by the Flyers, the CROWMEN rear charging into the Ogres, and Clan Rats completely unsupported. they're going to get their bread buttered. And you can see the Skaven forces here in pretty much mass retreat, while old Quick Headtaker is going to keep hunting down these Jade Warriors. So that's probably going to be it. I don't see too many more chances for these guys. Cleansing Rune does go down over here, but even still, the Ogres and the company just get wrecked, and my opponent knows that as well. So GG, well played. First time we both played, some of these factions in a while, but Grand Cathay still seems really good. I think that CROWMEN are just top tier. They have really good infantry, great lords that are durable. All the dragon characters are pretty good. Like Miao Ying has healing, if you want to play that way. She also has talents with the knight, which isn't bad. Iron Dragon's good, and of course our assassin dragon is still very formidable in certain matchups on foot. And Wujing War Compass was good. Firing Rocket at 1700. CROWMEN didn't get a ton of value, but they shut down what they needed to, and everything just kind of clicked. And we talked about it after the game. I think the catapults are a little bit risky to open with against CROWMEN, and also Queek just sucks. So if you just brought, let's say he brought a Gracier on a Bell with the Lord Ruin, so he's just going to be able to Cleansing Rune on a durable 100 armor character, and then from there he has Rattling Gunners mixed in his army to shoot the Iron Dragon and keep him honest. Maybe some Giselles in the backfield can creep up. Different things like that. The catapults just got shut down too easily, and that was basically it. So GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. The Iron Dragon, he's back, baby. And a lot of fun stuff coming up. Stay tuned. The future is bright. Cheers.